Hi, I'm Jeannie Raffa. Welcome back to the third installment of my series called Dream Theaters of the Soul. Today we're going to be talking about the next layer down of the psyche. Remember, we've done the ego, the center of consciousness. We've done the persona, our social mask. Today we're going to talk about our shadow. Our shadow is the personal parts of our psyches, our personalities, that we would rather not have. We disown them. We don't want to be these things. We don't want to manifest certain qualities. For example, you live in a family where people make fun of art. So you might disown your artistic abilities as a child because that's not acceptable in your family. Or maybe you have urges or instincts to do things that your family doesn't appreciate. So what happens is, as we get older, we begin to disown these certain qualities of ourselves, put them away, hide them deeper in the unconscious, and assume that we're what we show the world. Well, we're not. There's more to us in that shadowy realm beneath the conscious self. So welcome today to the Dream Theater of the Shadow. Now look at this image of a shadow at the top of the stairs. Imagine that's you down in the basement and you thought you were alone in the house. You know how scary that's going to feel, right? Well, the shadow is the part of you that you have disowned, your personal qualities that you have disowned and put behind you and don't want to acknowledge because you don't like them. And you don't like them when you see them in other people. The reason you don't like them when you see them in other people is because you don't like them in yourself, right? So it's images of the shadow can show up in dreams as people we don't like. It can show up as running away or being afraid or hiding from scary things and situations, or the night, or shadowy figures, or garbage or junk. But we also have a light or bright shadow. Everybody does. And this is all the positive qualities that we have disowned. Your parents made fun of your creativity or your love for music, and so you squelched all those ambitions. My husband had an aunt who said, "Oh, you have webs between your fingers that you'll never be able to play the piano," so he immediately decided not to play the piano. It's those things that happened to us when we were young that made us feel like, I can't do that because people won't like me. I can't admit to this. And so we grow more and more afraid of it because it gains more power the longer it's disowned in us. Here's the thing about the shadow that we must realize. If we want to go deeper than the ego and the persona, we have to come to terms with our shadow. Now that's something that nobody likes. And that's the reason I didn't want to do dream. I put it off for so many years because I was afraid of what my dreams would say. But you have to get in touch with your shadow. It's the gatekeeper to the depth below. And there are two more layers of depths. So I'd like to show and share my dream of the shadow. The very first one I remembered, and it taught me a lot about my personality. You're going to love this. Because I know there are some people here who share this same shadow. And the reason I know it is because it's very common. I call it the intense exerciser, and it's the 7th dream I ever recorded. Remember the ego dream was the 6th dream? I mean, they were coming fast and furious in those days. 7th dream. Okay, in the dream, I can tell you this one without reading it. I'm walking down a road, and I see a little woman in blue jogging by, a blue workout suit. She's just sort of quietly jogging by. Okay, so I keep walking, and I'm heading home from somewhere, as I recall, and then suddenly I notice a woman by the side of the road with dark hair. She's very thin. She's straining mightily to touch her head to her knee and to stretch, and she's just working away like crazy, and I'm thinking, ugh, I don't like that woman. She's really intense. I don't like her. As I saw her, I thought, I don't want to go this way. So I turned around to go back. And as I'm turning around to go back, suddenly she's standing there and she's pulled down a garage door. And I can't get past her. And I realize I'm afraid of her. I'm intimidated by her. And then I'm thinking, wait a minute. She's a woman like I am. What am I so afraid of? That's crazy. And just then, I see the little woman in blue and blonde hair standing there watching me. And I think, I don't have to put up with this. So I walk up to her and I say, you don't scare me, and you better get out of my way or I'm gonna punch your lights out. Crazy, right? What happened is the little woman jogs on away, and this woman who I've been so intimidated by says, I hate that expression, and she starts to laugh. She's my friend all of a sudden. And I like her. She's cool, she's funny, and I'm so embarrassed that I was so afraid of her. Why was I so afraid of her? Well, what did I learn? You can imagine. I was afraid of my own shadow. I was afraid that she was too intense. She was an intense perfectionist. Look how hard she was working to appear calm and laid back and perfect. That's the way I acted before a dinner party, Oh, I've got to get all this done, but I'm cool, I'm calm, I'm fine, everybody, don't worry about it. And I'm not, Well, she represented the part of me that I didn't realize. I may be looking serene as a duck floating on a pond on the surface, but I'm paddling away like crazy underneath, right? And I'm doing it in a very intense manner. Well, that can be very annoying to people sometimes. It can be intimidating to people. She was intimidating to me, this perfect person with this intense desire to appear even more perfect. There's nothing terribly likable about that, truly. And that was the very first time that I knew that I was a perfectionist. At 47, I finally figured it out. And so I learned, okay, I have a shadow, but it's standing between me and the rest of my journey, and I have to befriend it if I can want to keep going. Here's something Carl Jung said about this. When we discover an inferiority in ourselves, we should not be depressed. No disaster has taken place, but we have discovered our humanity. It's taken me years to be able to forgive myself for being imperfect. And some of you still have that problem, I bet. If you're young, you probably do. If you're my age, after a while, you finally start giving it up. But we're just part of the human race, for heaven's sake. We make mistakes. It's no big deal. And if we can love that about ourselves, we're going to grow a lot faster, because that shadow has to be dealt with.